Hi everybody, Bob Olson here from Afterlife TV at afterlifetv.com. Today I want to talk to you about something that a lot of people ask me about, which is what's the best way to locate and choose a psychic or a medium? Especially how do you choose the one that's best for you? Now the first thing you want to do is you want to decide whether or not you want a reading with a psychic or with a medium. Now psychic readings are more about getting advice or guidance or direction around things that are going on in your life. You might be dealing with an issue or a crisis. You want some direction. I think of a psychic reading as, getting confirmation on what our own intuition is already telling us. All right. So the psychic tells you things, gives you some guidance or direction, and your intuition was already sort of giving you that message. You just wanted to confirm it. You didn't really trust it. You wanted to confirm it. You go out and get a psychic reading. The psychic basically tells you the same thing. What that does is it teaches you to trust your own inner wisdom. All right. A reading with a medium, on the other hand, is about spirit communication. So if you want to contact a loved one in the spirit world, you want to have some communication with them, you go to a medium. All right, that's called a mediumistic reading. All right, so as long as you know the difference, you know which kind of practitioner you're looking for, psychic or a medium. Second thing is it's really best to get a referral. All right, that's the safest way to go about choosing a psychic or a medium. Get a referral from somebody that you trust, but also make sure that that person is like-minded with you. All right. If you get a friend who, you guys get along, you like each other, but you don't really agree on a lot of things. You like different TV shows, you read different books, you like to do different things, different hobbies. There's a good chance that the psychic or medium that person loves and goes to might not be for you. All right, you want to get a referral from somebody who is like-minded with you, who has a lot of similar likes and dislikes, and so because of that, that if they go to a psychic or a medium, they prefer that person, then you probably will too. All right, it's just common sense, but it does need to be said. Not everybody follows that common sense. The other thing I want to say is don't overspend. You don't have to overspend on a reading. So many people have asked me the question about why mediums charge so much. The truth is that there are plenty, and I'm talking like hundreds, if not thousands, of psychics and mediums out there who don't charge a lot of money. All right? People are at all different levels. They're in their experience, in their own thinking as far as what they think is a fair price or what isn't a fair price in terms of their own values and the way they just think about life. And so you will find plenty of psychics and mediums out there who are charging under $100, maybe even under $50 or $60 for a 1-hour reading. You can find just as many of those, probably more of those than you will for people who are charging more than $200 or $300. Okay, so it's not necessary that you overspend. Now, I agree that some of the people who are really good psychics or mediums, they gain a reputation, and so that increases the demand for their services. And as a result of that increase in demand, a lot of times their prices go up over time. Okay, that's given, but it doesn't mean that you can't still get a good reading from somebody for under $100. You can, so I'm just letting you know. This sort of also brings up the question of, are the famous psychics and mediums, the ones who are on TV, we'll say, are they better than everybody else? And the answer is no, they're not better than everybody else. There are plenty of psychics and mediums who are not on TV, who have not written books, that are just as good as those who are on TV and have written books. All right, so and they're giving excellent, extraordinary readings, but they just didn't do those other things. So they're not as famous. Doesn't mean they're not as good. All right, need to make that point as well. I also want you to consider a phone reading. I think in this day and age, most people do, but I've been doing this for 12 years, and when I first started off, most people only wanted a reading in person. They thought that for some reason the gift worked better that way. it doesn't. And in fact, I like phone readings better because I always have a little bit of remaining skepticism when I'm working with a new person. If I'm getting a reading from a new psychic or medium, I don't want to give anything away. And one of the things that we give away is our facial expressions and our body language, and even the way we dress, the jewelry we wear, all this sort of things. It gives a lot of information to that psychic or medium because they're looking at us. I prefer to be on the phone where they can't see any of those things, and therefore, when they give me information that they might have got some signs or signals from, and if it's on the phone, they're not getting those. I know the information that they're giving me is not influenced in any way by my body language or my facial expressions or something I'm wearing. Okay? So consider a phone reading. It also allows you to choose from a lot more people. Literally, you get to choose from any psychic or medium across the world, and more easily any psychic or medium who is located in this country of the United States. All right? Let's talk about online research. So online research. Now, this is my thing, right? I have a few sites. I have bestpsychicmediums.com. Bestpsychicmediums.com I started in the year 2001. This is where it holds my list of recommended psychic mediums. The people who I have got readings from that I thought were extraordinary. And I wrote about those readings and then put them up on the internet on this website, bestpsychicmediums.com. All right. Even though right now I have 11 people on that list, on that website, and even though there's 11 people, there's a lot of people who are like, Bob, I'm really too lazy to read all the articles that you wrote. Can you just tell me who the best is? But the reality is there isn't a best for everybody. All right. I talk a lot about spirituality being a very subjective experience, and readings are too. So I write my articles in such a way so that you can get a sense of each psychic or medium's personality, their reading style, all the things that you want to know about what that person is like and what it's going to be like to get a reading with them. That's why I write those articles. It's not all about me. It's not all about my reading. It's to try to convey those things to you so that when you read each one, you get to decide, if that particular psychic or medium that I'm writing about resonates with you. How do they resonate with you? And you then choose between the one that most resonates with you, that's most like you, that has the personality and the style that you best prefer, okay? So that's one of the first things you want to do. So what I tell people who email me, which one's the best, I say, there isn't a best. These are the best that I've had readings with. You just have to read each one and decide which one's best for you. Now, on the other hand, I have another site called bestpsychicdirectory.com. On there, I have well over 600 psychics and mediums who are listed. Certainly, most of them are from this country, but they're divided up by state, so you can just find, the state that you live in and see who is listed in that state. But we have other countries as well. You can find people in the UK and Australia. There's a few countries that are listed there. And so wherever you are in the world, you can find someone who's located near you. That might just help because of the time zone difference, but the reality is, as long as you don't mind getting a reading at, maybe some odd hour, you can really get a reading from any one of these 600 or 700 psychics and mediums who are listed there. Now, one of the great things about Best Psychic Directory, and one of the reasons that I created it, is because I wanted people to be able to write reviews about their readings. See, bestpsychicmediums.com is me basically writing reviews about my best readings. I wanted bestpsychicdirectory.com to be about you, about people who have already had readings, writing reviews about their best readings. Now, we don't allow negative reviews because, first of all, I just believe that if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. And I also believe that if you're trying to choose between two mediums and one has 3 reviews and one has 300 reviews, it's going to be pretty easy to choose between those two people, all right? Or if someone doesn't have any reviews, it raises the question, why has nobody written anything good about this person? Or, when you see someone who has, 50 or 100, then you recognize there's 50 or 100 people who thought their reading was great, so much so that they wrote about it. And I will tell you that for every review that goes on there, you can be sure there's at least 10 more people who didn't write a review. Probably 100 people for each person that didn't write a review, even though they loved the reading that they got. So that's one of the great things about the Best Psychic Directory, is that you get to read the reviews by other people. Find the people who are on there. Each psychic or medium, you go to their individual page, and the reviews are down at the bottom of their listing, okay? Now, when you're looking at each psychic or medium, whether you're doing it from Best Psychic Mediums, Best Psychic Directory, or just from the internet, I highly recommend that you go to their website. Go to each psychic or medium's website, all right? The first thing that I look at, and I'm just going to tell you what I look at so you can use this as advice for yourself. I actually look to see if it's a free website or not. Is it a free website? Meaning they don't pay for hosting, they don't pay a monthly fee to have their website hosted online. They actually go to one of these sites that exist online, and they let people create a website at no cost, all right? And so that's probably because they put advertising on there or something on their website. But one of the ways that you can find out if they have a free website is if you just scroll down to the bottom of any page on their website, you're going to see a link that says something on the idea of get a free website, click here. It's a little banner that's required there. And so what does that mean if they have a free website? It doesn't mean anything specifically. What it does is it raises a red flag to me as to why did this person not invest in a website? Because scam artists, people who are like fly-by-nighters, those are the kind of people who are not going to invest in something like that. They're in it to make money. They don't want to spend money, so they're more likely to get a free website than they are to actually pay for a website, because they can then take advantage of people, right? And then just be gone, just like that. Just the website can shut down, they can be on their way, and nobody will know the difference, right? So as a former private investigator, these are the things that I look for. Again, doesn't mean that any psychic or medium who has a free website is a bad or non-reputable psychic or medium. Doesn't mean that they are. It just raises a red flag for me. And so I'm giving you some advice as to what you can look for. I also look to see how professional looking is the website. I believe that the websites that we create for ourselves are a reflection of our personality. And our personality reflects upon everything else that we do. So if you're looking at a website that looks like it was created in the 1990s with software from the 1990s, and it's just this horrible, very unprofessional looking website, to me that says it's very likely that the reading that I'm going to get with that person might be unprofessional as well. Okay, so that's kind of what happens. This is how an unprofessional website will reflect upon any one of these psychics or mediums. One of the reasons why they should make their website as professional looking as possible. And so anyways, I look to see, is it a professional looking website? I also look to see if there's a photograph of them. All right, so many do not have photographs of themselves. I just ask, why not? What are they hiding from? Now, I understand some people are very uncomfortable about putting their photo online. There's lots of reasons why they do it. It doesn't mean that they're scam artists or phonies or frauds, but it again raises a red flag if a psychic or a medium does not put a photo of themselves on the website, on their website, because I like to know who I'm doing business with. I like to see who the person is that I'm going to be doing business with when I'm going to be handing over whatever, $100, $200, $300, at least let me know what you look like, right? That's the way I feel, and you might feel the same. One of the other things I look for on their website is to see if they do any events. So there might be a calendar page, where it lists the workshops, seminars, lectures, appearances, medium demonstrations that they do, all right? A medium demonstration, even a psychic demonstration, do the same thing, is where they get up on stage in front of an audience and they give random readings to the people in the audience, all right? So if somebody has the guts to do this, first of all, chances are they're probably a good medium. For one reason, that word's going to spread very quickly and nobody's going to show up if they're not any good. But second of all, they're not hiding from anything. They're out in the public. They're showing the public, what it is that they do and how they do it. And they're obviously very proud and passionate about the work that they do when they're giving these types of events. And so to me, if they're out there giving events, that's a good sign. That's a positive sign. That means, first of all, they're reputable enough that people are coming to see them, but it also means that they're not hiding in any way. They're actually probably, I usually think, in order to do, especially demonstrations where they're actually giving readings to people, they're probably pretty good, all right? I also look to see if they do media interviews, if they've done media interviews. So sometimes they'll have a media page or something to do with along the lines of a media page where they'll list any times where a journalist or writer or author has written about them, or maybe a radio host or even a TV host has had them on their show, their radio show or TV show. And usually these things are linked to somebody else's website. So we'll say it's a radio show where they did an interview. A lot of times you can either listen to the audio right there of that radio show, or it'll link to the radio station or the TV station where you can either listen to it or watch it on their website. I actually prefer the latter because I know that it's not just something somebody created on their own with their best friend, this sort of phony interview thing. I know that if I go and it's on the radio show website or the TV show website, that's real, that was a legitimate show. And that's, because we don't know all the radio shows and TV shows that exist in this country and around the world, right? So media interviews are great because you also get to really get to know them. You get to listen to them, or you can read about them. If it's a newspaper or magazine article that was written, you get to read to see at least what that journalist's point of view was about their experience with this person. So media interviews are great. I also love video. I mean, obviously, afterlifetv.com. I love video because it really helps me get to know that person's personality, their reading style, as I mentioned earlier. Tells you a lot. If a picture, says 1,000 words, then a video is like a million words, right? We learn a lot about someone by watching them on video. This doesn't always work in the favor of the psychic or medium. I've watched many videos of psychics and mediums on YouTube and other places or on their websites, and it didn't really reflect very well on them, but it helps if they are really good. So if they're really good, sometimes you'll see them doing one of these medium demonstrations that I talked about, where there's an audience and they're giving some readings. And my guess is, although this doesn't always happen, I don't know why they choose to edit the videos the way they do, but usually you're going to see some of the best readings that they did, but that's okay because everybody has good readings and bad readings, and some are extraordinary and some are just mediocre. But if I was going to put a video of one of my medium demonstrations on, I would I'd want to keep it fairly brief, and so I would just take the best of maybe one of those demonstrations. But anyways, I love video. Certainly look for those. And the last thing is testimonials. Everybody often has a testimonials page. I have a little pet peeve thing about testimonials that only have initials, or that it's like, John from Arkansas. They don't actually put a first and last name. One of the things we do on bestpsychicdirectory.com is we require all the reviewers to use their first and last names. And we verify those in numerous types of ways to make sure that nobody's cheating. And, The main thing that psychics and mediums will tell you as to why they just use initials or the first name and the last initial or something along that idea is for the privacy of their clients. But bestpsychicdirectory.com has proven, because we have thousands of reviews on there, that people don't mind using their first and last name. If they got a great reading and they want to tell other people about it, they want to help you because you gave them such a great reading, they don't mind using their first and last names. Yes, some people do, and so you don't put their reviews up. But most people actually won't mind. Just ask them. That's the thing. Psychics or mediums just don't ask. They just assume that everybody's going to be concerned about their privacy. Well, the directory with thousands of reviews proves that that's not the case. So psychics and mediums really ought to be asking their clients if they don't mind that their first and last name be used, so that it adds credibility to those testimonials that they put on their website. The last thing I just want to talk about is instant readings. One of the things we do on bestpsychicdirectory.com is we allow people to have instant readings. And it's the same thing. It's a great way to test a psychic or medium because you get to pay by the minute, all right? I used to be against instant readings for years because I had all kinds of issues, criticisms of what the psychic hotlines, the way they do work and the way that they present themselves. One of my biggest concerns was that so many of the psychics and mediums sort of are anonymous. They use one word or even aliases, one-word aliases, so that you have no idea really who these people are. You don't even know if those photographs are correct. On Best Psychic Directory, everybody has to use their first and last name. Everybody has to have a photograph that does the instant readings. And so the great thing is you can test somebody out by just getting, a 5 or 10 or 15-minute reading with them. So you're not actually booking yourself for a half hour or a full hour. You get to test them out. It's one of the things I love about instant readings. I'm also an impatient person, so I tend to not like to have to wait for 2 weeks or a month for an appointment with a psychic or medium. I like to get a reading right away. If I'm in the mood for it, I can just go get an instant reading right away. That just fits my personality, and I know it fits the personality of other kinds of people. So, and I'm willing to pay a little extra for that. So I don't like waiting, so I'll pay a little extra. That's fine. That works for me. So this is the advice that I have for you as far as choosing the best psychic or medium for you. And I hope it's helpful to you. I think there's a lot of information here that I shared. This is how I choose people for this directory. This is how I choose people that I'm going to test personally. And so I think if you use some of these ideas, it'll probably help you as well. Okay? Thanks for visiting Afterlife TV.